Hello, everybody. My name is Jiggly Pants, and welcome back to another episode here on our Survival Let's Play series. But last episode, we took on the end. We fought the Ender Dragon, and then we did some end busting, where we got some shulker boxes, which you can see behind us, and then we got these bad boys, nice set of wings. And then in between episodes, I took some time and I worked on some villager enchants, and I got my Unbreaking 3 and Mending. But today, I think we're gonna do something we've been procrastinating quite a bit. We're gonna finish up this monstrosity that we got going on here. I've got a whole bunch of just random junk that I need to start sorting through and figuring out a spot for where it's gonna go in our auto sorter. I got some bulk storage plans I want to get going on down in here, and then a bit of an item elevator I want to get put in here. We got lots of stuff we got to do. But before we do any of that, we need to figure out how we're gonna get some slime, and I think I got a bit of a plan for that. And it's gonna utilize, where'd he go? Oh, this little guy in here. I also got him in between episodes. He was quite the pain to get, but we got him here. So our little plan for this guy is actually a two-step plan. It's going to kill two birds with one stone. First thing we're going to do with him is we're going to duplicate him a whole bunch of times, and then we're going to make a silverfish XP farm. And that's going to help us with all of our mending and all of our tools and stuff, and it's going to be really close to our storage system here. Where did he go? He keeps flying away, but that's okay. And then once we get that up and going, we're going to go out and we're going to try and find one slime. And we're going to make an oozing potion. And we're going to throw that oozing potion on all the silverfish that he makes. And then we're going to get a whole bunch of slime balls. That's the plans. Let's see how it goes. So I'm going to start by just mocking up a little bit of the silverfish XP farm first. So step 1 has been completed here. We have this XP farm up and going. I've made 2 of these prior, and this is my 3rd one, and no 2 have been the same. So they're not that difficult to make, as long as you understand kind of the mechanics of how they work. So what we got going on is we just have our allay friend above a campfire here, and we duplicate him a bunch of times. And then we have a dispenser with flint and steel in it. We have a dispenser with some splash potions of infestation. And then we have a dispenser with a bucket of water. And then down here, we have a couple controls. We got this one on the left, which is a note block. When you hit the note block, it'll send a pulse, only one pulse, through this observer chain, up and around, and it'll trigger the dispenser with the flint and steel, and then it'll trigger the dispenser with the potion of infestation. When the flint and steel dispenser gets triggered, it lights the campfire, and then the infestation potion goes off, and it affects all of the allays here. And then once the allays start taking damage from the campfire, they have a chance of spawning a silverfish. All those silverfish are going to fall down into this water, and they go into this little killing chamber. When we want to shut it off, we hit this button on the observer here, and that sends a pulse up to the dispenser with the bucket of water in it. The reason why we use a button and not a note block there is because we want this line to trigger twice and not just once like the note block. So it'll trigger on the button press, and then when the button pops back out, it'll trigger again. And then down here in the killing chamber, we just have an armor stand for us to be able to swing at. It's better if you use a sword that doesn't have knockback on it and sweeping edge, but I don't have those enchants just yet. And then I got some vines in there. Those vines, they stop entity cramming, so we can have more than just, I think it's 23 mobs in a single block. And yeah. So I'll just run it here for a second. I'll show you. When we hit that, it triggers the campfire, and then it triggers the potion of infestation. And then the LAs start to take some damage, and they start to spawn some silverfish. They all go down here, and we smack them a little bit with our sword. And we get all kinds of XP. And then when we want to shut it off, we just hit this button, which releases the water bucket, and then picks it back up. But yeah, it runs pretty good. I just ran it for a short period there, but if you let it run for the full 3 minutes that the infestation potion lasts, I know in testing in the past, you can go from about 0 to 40 levels in just one potion use. One last thing up in here. I designed this without a glass block here. I might have to add another glass block just right here because I'm scared some of the allays might slip out when some of the silverfish start spawning, and they might bump them around a bit, and one of them might pop out. But that hasn't been an issue so far, so I'm a big supporter of the if it's not a problem, don't fix it. So we're not going to worry about that just yet, but I'll keep you guys updated if that does happen. So step 1 of our slime production plan is probably going to be the easier of the 2 steps. Now we got to go find a slime, and I have no idea where we're going to do that. So I'll be back when I get one. See you guys. So I've made my way over to mangrove swamp here, and I see some slimes jumping around in there. I just need to get to them. Oh, no slime ball. I hear another one. Where is he? Oh, there he is. He's a big guy. Hopefully this guy has some slime for us. Oh, there we go. Ah! Oh my lord. We're going home. That's the end of this excursion. Whew, we got 15 slime from that, so hopefully that's enough to get us started. I'm never leaving my base again. That's the end of that. So this next step, I've never done before. So we're going to see how this goes. I have no idea what's going to happen here. I'm assuming once the silverfish start to take some damage, slime will start spawning. I don't know if they'll spawn in there or if they'll start spawning out here, but what's the worst that could happen? Okay, that should be enough silverfish for now. Let's wait until they all kind of make their way down and in there. And we're gonna toss this bad boy in there and start smacking away. Nothing. Okay. I thought they were supposed to spawn. Oh, now they are. Oh, I think I have to directly hit them. Ah, I see now. It's kind of a lot of them. Yeah, so you have to directly deal damage to the silverfish. You can't, like, smack them with the armor stand. So we got about 3 and just under 3.5 stacks there, which that's pretty good. That's not that bad. Again, we could have ran that a lot longer, but I think that's enough. I'm going to keep one slime block as kind of like an emergency slime block, just in case if I do run out of slime, I'm not stranded. But we'll figure out a more sophisticated method of getting slime in the future there. But for now, I think that'll be enough. So now that we got all the slime, you guys are probably wondering, Jiggly, what do you even need slime for? You're working on your storage system. And for that, I say, time for a field trip. So we're back here in our creative testing world, and I found a bit of a design for a shulker loader that's tileable. So you can put them side by side without them interfering with one another. And I've kind of modified it a bit to how I want it to operate. I want to have a way where you can pull individual stacks of items out and also have shulker boxes packed full of the item. Just because sometimes you want to grab a full shulker box of something, or sometimes you just really need a stack of something. And if they're all packed away, you kind of have to pull one out of the chest, find a spot for the shulker, put it down, pull an item out, and then break it and put it back in. And it's all tedious. At least I find that tedious. So came up with this kind of idea. It's actually quite simple, even though it looks a little complex. What happens is the items filter in through the top here, and first of all, they're going to try and fill this chest. Once this chest gets filled, it's going to backfill these hoppers with some items, and then any overflow items are going to go across into this barrel and then down into this shulker. Um, right now, I almost have it full, but normally it would be a fresh shulker starting to get filled up. As that gets filled up, once it hits full, it'll give out a signal strength of 15 into this block. Um, right now, what's happening here is this redstone block is giving a level 15 here and 14 here. So once this hits 15, this redstone dust goes to level 15 as well. And this observer detects that. It pulses across to this observer, which then pulses uh, into this glass block, but glass doesn't transmit redstone signal. So it's actually kind of bud powering this piston. If these glass blocks weren't here, it would bud power this piston and this piston. And if there was another one beside it, it would bud power that one as well, which we don't want. So the glass kind of acts as a bit of an insulator and only allows the one piston to get fired. This piston shoots across and it breaks this shulker box, which goes down into this hopper, which goes down into these chests here. Um, when it goes across and then it comes back, this observer detects that it's kind of moved across these two blocks and it fires these two droppers, this dropper and this dispenser. And then this dispenser dispenses another shulker box there. So I'm just going to show you guys here. I'm going to put in 16. So these items are flowing across into the barrel. Then we'll see what happens here in a second. So just like that. And then we got another fresh shulker box packed. And then a new one was dispensed, ready to be packed. And then the whole reason we needed all the slime is for these sticky pistons right here. This one little guy, I tried so many times to figure out how to make this without a sticky piston, without needing slime. But I just couldn't. So that's why we needed it. And while we're here, I might as well take you guys on a little bit more of an adventure here and show you guys my item elevator that I've been working on. This one was my first attempt. It's got a big red X on it because it does not work and it is too complicated. And this one doesn't have a big red X on it because it is less complicated and it does work. So the whole principle of this is there's an old Minecraft trick where if a block is stuck, like if an item of a block is stuck within a block, it will try and push itself out of the block like it just did there. But if that block can't go anywhere in the four cardinal directions, north, south, east, or west, or left, right, up, or down, it will shoot itself upwards on top of the block. Kind of glitchy a little bit, but that's the principle that we're working with. So here, what we're going to do is in the middle of our storage room, we're going to have a glass column and we're going to have any items that we feed into the system go up through the center of the glass column. Isn't that cool? I think that's just the coolest thing ever. So as we're putting stuff away and we're walking around our storage system, we can see all the items kind of funnel up to the top. And then once we get it to the top, we could put it back in a hopper and move it across. Probably go to our bulk storage system first, and then across to our multi-item sorter. We are going to have to put in just the simple item filters similar to these, but not make them multi-item sorters, just make them individual item sorters. We're going to have to add those to the top of the bulk system, but those will be simple enough. And I think once we get these two pieces in, it'll be quite the room we got going. So in terms of random junk in the storage system, I think it's gotten worse. I've got random chests full of just random stuff all over the place. But in terms of the actual redstone of it, I think we've made good progress here. Um, I finished this bank of the multi-item sorter. I was kind of dragging my feet with that a little bit, so I thought I'd just hunker down and get it done because it needed to be done. And then put in this item elevator that I showed you guys just previously there, and got it running. I got a whole bunch of items in here. They're slowly ticking up. So yeah, all the items coming up the column there, they go to this ice stream and they go across to just above our bulk storage system. Uh, they funneled into this chest, which is kind of acting as a bit of a buffer just in case we do decide to kind of ramp up the speed of that thing because it is kind of slow. But I think that's okay. Um, so we got this little buffer chest just in case. And then we got our bulk storage system here, which I showed you guys previously. It's a little tight in here, but I'll try and get a good angle of it here. Um, but yeah, and it funnels in, and then first off, it fills up this top chest here, and then once that's full, it starts packing them full of the shulker boxes. So I got a couple of the cobble, and I got a couple deep slate. Here, I grabbed a bunch of deep slate just to kind of have something running through the system while I was showing you guys. And then up here, we have just those simple one item filters, um, just with the filter item we want, and then a couple filter blocks in there. Anything that doesn't get filtered through the bulk system, yeah, it then goes over to this hopper chain here, which feeds our multi item sorter. And then I have the two banks just kind of hooked together with a little hopper chain there. I don't know if you guys can see that. But yeah, all in all, so far, I'm liking the system. It's going pretty well. I haven't found any major issues with it so far, which is kind of shocking because sometimes when I build stuff like this, I build each individual part. Like I built the multi sorter, and then I built the bulk storage, and then I built the item elevator, and then I just kind of stick them all together. And I never really test with each one of them working together, and that's normally where I run into some problems. But so far with this project, there hasn't been any of those moments just yet. I don't want to jinx myself, but it's going pretty well so far. So now that I got all of the redstone in, or most of the redstone in here, um, I'm gonna start to do some cleanup and get rid of some of these chests. Maybe finish off some of the filters for the multi-item sorter, and then I want to get a bit of a design going here for this room. Um, Obviously, I'm going to be spending a lot of time in this room, so I want to make it look nice and pretty. And all this dirt and cobblestone and stone all over the place is kind of giving me a headache, and it's bugging me quite a bit. So I think for this room, I kind of want to do a bit of a fantasy kind of look. Maybe like an overgrown cave fantasy a little bit. Maybe this glass column could be like a gemstone or something like that, poking out of the ground with some nice greens and warm browns. Um, I'm not too sure yet, but we'll see where it goes. And I'll let you guys know how it goes in a little bit here. Okay, so before you guys see it, um, it's not done, so don't judge. But it's just kind of like a bit of a beginner palette to see kind of where my head's at with this room. So, um, Going in, obviously, I really wanted some nice sight lines coming in. Here, there's going to be a bit of a wall blocking off this monstrosity, but then I want it to open up, and then you get this glimpse over the corner of your eye of the big room, and then have a bit of this launch off pad here to drop down in. I got some slime blocks hidden underneath a moss carpet, so you don't take as much damage. You still take a little bit of damage, but yeah. I want to maybe put in some powdered snow in the future here. But in terms of actual block palette here, we went with the nice moss green all the way around the edge, up against the chests, with some carpet with some hidden lighting underneath, just some shroom lights, or really whatever I had on hand. Um, and then we did a nice brown path with the packed mud, the rooted dirt, some jungle planks because I think they look really good next to the rooted dirt and the packed mud. The same kind of like orangish brown a bit, and then just some coarse dirt to kind of fill in the gaps. Then in the middle here, I made the glass column into a bit of a amethyst geode kind of gemstone fantasy looking thing with some basalt, some deep slate, and then some calcite, and then the purple and magenta glass. I did have to raise this up about 7 or 8 blocks, um, just so we can get a little more clearance when we're walking on that path up above to see down in here. And then the walls themselves, the same kind of color palette with the basalt, deep slate into tough. And then I got a little bit of pale moss up at the very top. I might extend that down a little bit more just because it does give that kind of little greenish hue in there. And then some lichen just for some spot lighting where I thought areas were a little extra dark. Over here, some bridges. I don't really know what I'm doing with this yet, but I thought it looked cool. Um, just a little overhang bridge with some kind of planks and stuff kind of shambled in there, holding it together. Probably going to go across to another raised platform over here, similar to this. Uh, but I haven't thought that far yet. So yeah, it's looking a lot more cozy in here. I'm thinking so far. Obviously, it's not done. I still got like these rooms I got to do, like with the bulk storage, and then figure out how I'm gonna close in this because I don't necessarily want to be staring at this all the time. Uh, Obviously, close off these corners and stuff. Um, I know previously I said I was gonna finish off some of the filters, but I'm procrastinating, so I just kind of moved everything back here and rammed it in some chests. Um, Maybe it's not procrastination. Maybe it's proper planning. Uh, maybe we'll look at it that way. But yeah, a little bit of a shameless plug here. But if you want to see any of the actual building process, I did 2 live streams. They're up on my channel right now, just where I was kind of poking around and building a little bit. I do have to give you guys a fair warning. I have a bit of ADD brain when I build, so I'll go over here and I'll place about 3 blocks, and then I'll run over here. I'll place 3 blocks, and then I'll go over here and do something. Then I'll come back and I'll be like, "Why did I place these 3 blocks?" And then I'll break them. But if you guys wanna watch a nice cozy quiet stream where I'm just kind of building away, you can check that out. So just editing together this video, we actually have a bit more time to do one more thing. And I know earlier I said that there was no major problems with the multi-item sorter, but I did have one problem while I was building, and it has to do with these little copper guys. Right now, these ones are all on their first stage of oxidization. These guys have started to oxidize a bit, and they all kind of oxidize at about the same time. So they all fully oxidize at the same time as well. And then when they do that, they turn into statues, which is fine because we can just kind of scrape it off with an axe. but if I don't catch it in time, they all kind of freeze and then the entire system shuts down. And kind of like in real life, if you don't grease your gears, your machine's gonna stop working. So that's what we gotta do. We gotta go get some beeswax for these guys so I can wax them and keep them in their functioning item sorting state. So we've had this beehive sitting here for a long time, and I know if I just shear it, the bee's gonna come out and it's gonna sting me, and then we're gonna have no more bees. So I want to make a bit of an auto bee farm out of this. So I'm just gonna break out these two blocks here, put down some chests so that we can collect the bee comb or the honeycomb. I'll put a hopper underneath, and then we're gonna put maybe up top. Let's put our dispenser up at the top here, and then we're gonna have an observer looking at the beehive. So hopefully when the bee pops out, it triggers like it just did. I didn't see if it triggered or not, but it's okay. I think it did. And then we're going to take that signal up, and then we're just going to put some redstone dust up top here. So I think that should work. I don't see why it wouldn't. Now we're going to fill that with shears. A couple shears here. I'm not sure if that worked or not. We're going to roll with it. We're going to say, I think maybe we have to prime it, possibly. I'm not too sure. But we're going to just build up some glass here and here. Now we got to wait for our bees to come back so that we can close them in. I'm going to put some flowers in here as well. The bees like flowers, I think. Is he having trouble seeing how to get back in? Maybe. Go back home, little guy. You too, other little guy. Okay, he's in there. I think I can close this up. Yes, I think. Now we're just gonna, I think, prime the system here. They're mad at me, but they shouldn't sting me. Yep, and that went in there. So now when they calm down and they start making more honeycomb, I think each time it makes a honeycomb, it'll trigger and it'll shear it for me. And just like that, we have another crisis averted in our storage system here. Yeah, I was building away and they all turned to statues. And then I put some stuff through the system. I was like, why isn't it getting sorted? And then I looked up there and they were all statues. So I just kind of scraped off the oxidization, and they were all kind of aligned all weird. So they weren't hitting all the proper chests they were supposed to. Because we have them, we actually have them aligned as far back on the block. So they checked these 3 chests before they put it into this front one. But they weren't doing that. They were just checking the one chest behind them and then putting it into this chest. So that was causing a couple issues. But now they're all waxed and all greased up and ready to go. But I think with that, we're gonna end off today's episode. We got quite a bit done. We got our XP farm put in here. We got our bulk storage all finished up. We even got this cool item elevator put in. And then we worked on a bit of the actual design of this room, some building in there. I quite like building, if you can't tell. I found a lot of joy in it. So keep an eye out for a lot more of that in episodes to come. But if you guys like this episode, make sure you give it a like and maybe comment what you want to see from me in the next video. And hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.